The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The historic civilian voyage to the West Philippine Sea had to wrap up earlier than expected as a result of the tense encounter between a Philippine resupply mission and Chinese maritime forces. We have with us on the shows Atin Co-Convenor, Mr. Edicio Dela Torre, to talk about these developments. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Let's get right to it po. During this whole mission, did you lose contact po with the convoy at some point? And when were you informed that there was a commotion or a pushback that led to the trip being aborted?
Well, most of the time it's difficult, but at least there were some satellite phones there and also on our side. So we could, I think in the main, we were in touch with one another since they left at 1 a.m. Sunday morning. But in the early days of Sunday, we got news about the water cannon attack on the resupply mission to BRP Sierra Madre. And therefore, we were also quite alarmed, saying, oh, is that after Masinloc and now Ayung and Shoal, what about our mission? Are they going to hit us? And so some of the initial discussions, in coordination with the National Task Force on West Philippines, led to a shift in the sequence of the route. No, in other words, we said we still want to pass by Ayung and Shoal, but not necessarily near Sierra Madre. And then only after we were supposed to go to Lawak.
Yeah.
But now they say, could we reverse the sequence? Lawak seems to be safer. It's less contentious. And then from there, on the way back to El Nido, you could pass by Ayung and Shoal.
Yes.
So fine. On the way to Lawak, sometime maybe afternoon, 4 or 5 yesterday, suddenly it's a Chinese naval warship,
Yes.
not a Coast Guard, suddenly appeared and was speeding, not directly threatening the main mothership, but speeding to its rear. It turned out it was rendezvousing with 3 other Chinese ships, another naval warship, 1 Coast Guard, and 1 cargo. And soon, the 4 of them were shadowing the mother ship. Ironically, just at the time when the 2 priests on board were celebrating mass together with the volunteers and the passengers plus the media. I imagine that the prayers at mass became more fervent and intense, especially among the people who were saying, what are the Chinese intentions? But anyway, after that, they were surprised that between the Coast Guard and the mothership, the Chinese Coast Guard really crossed their path.
Yes.
So it was a direct signal that more things could happen if we continue. And there was some sort of a debate and discussion because the Coast Guard people were saying, we always experience that kind of shadowing and harassment. But the captain of the civilian ship said, this is my first experience, and based on my own maritime experience, the rule of thumb, if this type of danger is happening, we play safe.
Yes.
No? So, as you would imagine, there was some sort of discussion back and forth. But in the end, we all deferred because once a ship is on the sea, just as a plane is in the air, the captain is the one that has the final decision. So most people would rather not return, but he said, no, my judgment is we should return and avoid unnecessary confrontation.
Okay.
So a bit of frustration, a bit of anger at the Chinese and all that. But late at night, last night, we got news that the other cargo ship we had hired for the mission, carrying 1/3 of the donations, was able to maybe escape the notice of the Chinese. It was much smaller. They were concentrated on the mothership. So by 5 o'clock this morning, it managed to reach Lawak Island.
Okay.
And so we decided to break news. Not last night because the Chinese might decide to still run after it. So at least one small not insignificant success that, the bulk of one-third of the donations managed to reach Lawak Island. Oh, you have the pictures there. That's good.
Yes,
Those
yes.
were just taken by the only camera available, which was cell phones, because there were no media present. No, so we're happy that that has happened. In the meantime, we're awaiting. We can already see on the horizon the mothership coming together with the remaining maybe 30 or more fishing boats, so that they will come back to El Nido still as a convoy, although the convoy was broken because of
Yes.
different speeds on the way to Lawak Island.
Sir, I
We
heard...
still regret, we would have wanted to pass by Ayung and Shoal, but the reality is the Chinese seems to be adopting a much harder line on any initiative, whether military or civilian, whether resupply or simply Christmas giving. But that's the reality, so we have to live with that, and we have to move on and learn lessons and plan the next mission.
And better safe
The
than sorry,
very
sir.
minimum is,
Yeah.
upon advice of the Coast Guard, that the summer is a better time to do missions. We'll do a post-Valentine after this Christmas mission.
Anyway, we'll keep in touch with that next mission. But sir, we heard you were organizing the reception of the convoy there in El Nido. Now, what can we expect from that?
Well, most of those who will land here are the 50 or so media people. So there's more than enough shooting and interviewing and storytelling. But the other volunteers who will not land anymore, because the mothership will proceed to Manila to arrive there tomorrow. But part of the volunteers who have reservations for a plane ride back will also, and so we will be having meeting. Well, the first thing is we have to turn over all remaining donations to the Coast Guard, so that to make sure that they reach still BRP Sierra Madre and other places.
Okay.
Secondly, as usual, we have to meet together, find out exactly what happened, pin down the details, so that when people ask us, we can tell an accurate story. But beyond that, we have to plan the next moves. It's as simple as that. I am reminded of as a young activist, we used to retreat from a rally confronted by potential water hosing, also saying, babalik kami, mas marami. So hopefully that will be the theme also. We will come back, we'll plan better, and we'll have more, because the public support and outpouring of goodwill and donations, including offer to join the next mission, is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It will be a challenge to organizing that, but that's a better problem than people getting scared or saying, hey, nothing will happen. It will. So I feel we have had a significant success initiating this first civilian mission. It's not 100%
Yes.
related to our goals, but that's life. You don't always get 100% of your goals, because there are other players who decide to put obstacles.
That's
We're
right.
glad that at least the government has been very understanding, adjusting the policy, adjusting permissions. We're in constant communication with them. So it's a good example of how citizens and government can collaborate.
You said, sir, about the planned Valentine's mission next year. You're planning to proceed with that. But is this another dialogue po with the NSC, or tuloy na po ito, 100%?
Depende sa lugar, kasi very special itong Ayungin and all that. Very restricted dyan. There are military facilities. But some people are saying, including those from there, paano naman kami sa Masinloc? Kami winater host rin dito eh. So some people are urging na maybe, well, it doesn't have to be only one, but maybe we should also plan something for the Masinloc area. That's not that doesn't need any task force permission, because that's our fishing ground.
Yes.
There are no military facilities there. But remember, recently the Chinese water cannon even a BFAR ship, which was just giving aid to fisher folk. So we'll see. But the fisher folk in Masinloc are also quite parang brave, no? Hindi ba diyan nagpatintero yung isa, and they were telling us next time dito naman yung isang mission. So you might have more than one. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, well, we're truly looking forward to that, sir. And please do stay safe. And thank you very much for joining us. Atin ito, Co-Convenor, Edicio, Dela Torre. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
In other news, the Bangko Sentral is expected to keep interest rates untouched as the Monetary Board convenes for a final meeting this year. China Bank Chief Economist Dominic Velasquez says it expects a 6.5% benchmark rate to remain unchanged on the back of cooling inflation. The BSP, however, is expected to remain hawkish until early next year due to potential upside risks from higher prices of food and oil. BSP Governor Eli Remolona initially said it was still premature to discuss rate cuts and that inflation must first settle within the target band before the Monetary Board considers slashing rates. The Monetary Board will meet on December 14 to discuss rate adjustments. Meanwhile, NEDA is optimistic of the Philippine economy reaching the low end of its growth target for 2023. NEDA Undersecretary Rosemary Edilon said this is because of positive figures in the labor and manufacturing sectors. Edilon also noted that other sectors continue to recover from the pandemic. The government is hoping for economic growth to settle between 6 to 7% this year. GDP clocked in at 5.9% in the third quarter, beating estimates. The country will need to grow 7.2% in the fourth quarter to hit the low end of the government's target.
So for the year, expectation namin is we will hit the low end of the target, if not close to it. So yung low end of the growth target is a 6%. So either a 6 or yun nga, very close to that 6%.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. A recent survey showed that more than half of Filipinos do not have access to private medical insurance. The latest survey from Capstone Intel Corporation showed that 3 out of 5 Filipinos do not have private medical insurance. That translates to about 59% of Filipinos in the country. The survey also revealed that only 35% of Filipinos have private medical insurance. Respondents said the high cost of insurance is a primary factor for their non-availment, given the huge gap in medical insurance penetration among Filipinos. The research firm cited the need for educational campaigns explaining the benefits of private insurance. They're also pushing to simplify the process of obtaining private medical insurance for the public. Let's now take a quick look at some corporate headlines we're watching. GMA Network Chairman and CEO Felipe Gozon will step down as Chief Executive Officer. Effective January 1, GMA President and COO Gilberto Duavit Jr. will assume the CEO position. Gozon will continue to serve as chairman of the board and advisor to the corporation. Cebu Pacific is allocating 50 billion pesos for its capital expenditure in 2024 to be mainly used for aircraft-related expenses. The budget carrier plans to grow its fleet next year with 60 new aircraft expected by 2024. The Court of Tax Appeals has granted Petron Corporation's 450 million peso tax refund as part of its claim for erroneously paying excise taxes on fuel products in 2017. Petron earlier claimed that it was entitled to a refund under the revised tax code, which exempted fuel products sold to international carriers from excise taxes. And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Tune into One News as the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea conducts a briefing on the latest maritime developments.